Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Snow Talk. Nice to do that instead of Storm Talk, which I've had to use the past several times. No severe weather next several days, if not for several weeks. It's going to be cold for a while, the way things are looking, and at times it will be snowy. I'll get in a second. I should mention, by the way, I have my bots tie on. This is one of two bots ties. It's hard to read the words, but they are embroiled in here, bots. A friend of mine gave that to me. And I do have another bots tie, which I'll wear when I think the snow threat's a little bit higher. I'll get into that later. Before we get into the cold talk and the chance for some snow coming in as we head into the New Year holiday, let me go back and talk about, unfortunately we lost 4 lives in our viewing area. We lost 1 in Carroll County, an ATV flipped over into a flooded creek, and unfortunately the individual there drowned, and then also into Nelson County, 3 people. There was a rescue, and then they eventually did find them, and that's a sad story of Nelson County. High water there at the Rolling Fork was the reason for that one as well. So, and we got a confirmation of a tornado, but the tornado did not cause any injuries that we're aware of in Campbellsville, EF1 on that scale. Let me take you back to last night, and when I loop this radar, you'll see real quickly how that line came through. We had the tornado warnings just north of Louisville at one point, and then here came the Taylor County one in Greene County producing that damage, and then it was just heavy rain for a while in behind the front. And it took it to about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Then finally, everything dried out, and we've been pretty quiet throughout most of the day for today. There is some drizzle and moisture out there to talk about, but we'll get into that in a second. On the shear index here, this is the measurement of winds that have been strong. And notice the shear right across over areas of Taylor County. It did pick up there a little bit. Hopefully we'll get this loop for you one more time. What this is indicating is the best area potential for some shear or even some rotation that would develop as that line of storms passed through the area. And hold on one second. Let me reset it here. Take it all the way back to about, here it is in the morning hours, or here it is in the afternoon, in the evening hours. It passed through Louisville, and then here's the one moving through areas of Greene County, and then right south of Summersville, the rotation was showing up right over Campbellsville and then tracked off to the east. And that is where the tornado looks like it made a path through here, although it was only on the ground in Taylor County. The rotation started in Hart County and worked its way all the way over to Taylor last night. But again, that was an EF1. Flood warnings. Got to talk about this. This is going to be a problem for a few more days. Rolling Fork, I mentioned that in Nelson County. This is the Rolling Fork at Boston, forecast to rise to 35 feet, as with the Christmas Eve warning, which is a minor flood stage, right at the flood stage level, in fact. As we head into the Blue River, Fredericksburg, a lot of pictures you guys have been sending me of the Blue River. It is now dropping. It should already be below flood stage, in fact, and it'll be out of the action stage coming up for tomorrow. And the East Fork of the White River is going to be at a flood stage potential here for a while. Flood stage is 12 feet. It's not going to get below that until sometime until the day after Christmas. Some roads closed, by the way, up in Columbus, Indiana. As far as the Ohio River goes, upper gauge more than 51 feet, and the lower gauge more than 21 feet. And these were both forecast to crest around Wednesday. These are both at action level stages, so you will notice the river being high, but nothing more than that is expected at this point. So what's happening tonight? Well, you can see the brighter white clouds. Still got a moisture field because there's another area of low pressure. It's actually riding up the front. Let me broaden the view out here so you can see what I'm talking about. The cold front came through yesterday, but there is another low pressure now developing. We see this often when cold fronts get stalled on the East Coast. If they sit around too long, a low will develop right across what we call our baroclinic zone that develops across areas of the deep south, and that low is now developing and is heading northbound. As it does so, it is going to have a moisture field on the back side of it. And it looks like at this point, the cold air is going to take a while to catch up here to this band. It will by tomorrow morning, but at that point, most of the moisture should be east of our viewing area. So East Kentucky stands the best chance here to see this go over to some snow in the morning hours. Nothing too heavy, but some snow showers potentially in the morning hours. I think here in Louisville, we'll probably see that transition later tonight to drizzle to flurries. As the cold air works its way in, it'll feed on some of that moisture coming in from this. But overall, this is not a big ordeal. It's just interesting to watch it. If it was a colder air mass at play and the front was a little more to the west, then yeah, we would have one heck of a snow event for tomorrow. But, that's wish casting at this point to change the model like that. Okay, so here's how things are looking later tonight. You'll see the moisture fields out. Tomorrow morning it does show the cold air catching up with that low, moving into East Kentucky. So there may be a burst of some snow showers in our far eastern sections right before sunrise. And then temperatures in the 30s tomorrow on Christmas Eve day. Temperatures overall are going to stay in the 20s throughout most of the day on Christmas Eve. And as we head into Christmas Day, there was a passing flurry. Let me back the radar up a little bit here. There was a passing flurry that may develop here early on Christmas Day, but that's about it. It will be a white Christmas this year. Where is the cold air? A lot of you have been asking that, the really cold air. It is right up here into Canada. And one thing you notice, we show this map quite often, is usually the bright whites. The really cold air has been centered up in this area. Well, now it has moved. And it has now shifted more to the south. And you see now it's trying to infiltrate a little bit more into southern Canada, into northern United States. That is the beginning stages of an Arctic blast that is going to be arriving in the next 7 days, heading toward our part of the country. And right now, there's a lot of cold air to talk about in that area, 20 to 25 below zero. This is the polar vortex that is working its way south and east. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the coming days. Now, looking ahead at the GFS, and the GFS is similar to the Euro. That's why I'm showing the GFS. There's not a whole lot of difference in them right now as with the next 7 days. Let me advance you, though, all the way to next weekend. As we head into the 28th, I think we're going to have a warm field here. So this is an area of high pressure parked to our southeast. I think temperatures will warm into the 40s, maybe even 50s. I wouldn't rule it out on Saturday, especially ahead of this front. But this is the actual polar vortex front. And it's going to get close to us as we into Saturday night. It'll really work its way into the upper Midwest. And then watch what happens as we head into time. It'll pass through as we into Sunday and Monday. As it does so, I think there will be a band of snow with it, with this Arctic boundary. Now, because we're going to be warm in advance of it, it'll probably be light rain or drizzle and changing the snow showers. It does look like a lot of snow, just a little burst of some snow showers. That's it, as the Arctic front comes on by. But it's important to talk about this because as the Arctic front continues to slide to the south, it will eventually stop somewhere in the southeast part of the country. That is important because this is a new storm developing over Colorado. And it's already starting to show the moisture being pulled up into Louisiana. This is the low pressure that it's going to track to the south of us across the Dixie area and then head up to the east coast. That is going to be a storm to watch. Some models take the snow band with that to our south, and some of it bring a nice accumulating snow right through our area as we head into New Year's Eve night into New Year's Day, and maybe even a day later, probably closer to the 2nd or the 3rd, to be honest with you. I think New Year's Eve is going to be mainly the Arctic front, snow showers when it passes by, but this storm probably will miss us New Year's Day holiday itself by a day or two. So the 2nd or the 3rd of that week, which would be, I believe, a Thursday and Friday, could be a snowmaker for us. So some of you may, if this turns out to be a decent storm, hey, wouldn't that be nice to have an extended holiday? You may get Thursday and Friday off work. Wouldn't that be nice? Looking ahead there on that too far, probably. Okay, the indices here. We haven't talked a whole lot about that because they really haven't been in favor for an Arctic blast to come to the United States. It doesn't mean you can't get cold air without it. Obviously, we've had snow with the indices that would usually indicate warm. But they are lining up now to show a truly cold Arctic pattern here as we head into January. The North Atlantic Oscillation is showing a dip toward negative as we head into the first week here of January. That is a sign that low pressures, if this is the United States, low pressures will go up the East Coast. That's what that's a sign of more than anything. The Arctic Oscillation, look at that tanking on one of the ensembles, but the majority of them take it negative. Nothing too drastic, but notice as we look back all the way into October, we really haven't been negative a whole lot. We've been more positive. That means the cold air is on the move southward, and we showed that on that temperature map. The PNA is the jet stream flow. It's been a kicker this year. You really needed to go positive to get the jet stream to really bring in that cold Arctic air into our area. And it's been struggling to go positive this year, but it is showing that as we head into the first week of January. So the pattern's lining itself up to be a colder and you would have to think snowier pattern. But as I've mentioned before, you don't want too much cold air sinking into our area because if we do, we're going to get nothing but clippers. And the big snows will be across Atlanta and Birmingham. We've seen that happen many times. So you want to be the careful balance here of the warm and the cold as much as you can. I know it's always tough because you get too much warm air. Then we talk about freezing rain or going to all rain, and we're always on the borderline, and it's so frustrating. I get it. But it's those borderline situations, to be honest with you, where we get our bigger snows from. It's not the Arctic blast we get big snows from. We usually just get minor snows out of those. So it's a give and take here the next few weeks. I still think our chances for some flurries will be there, certainly, or snow showers for New Year's Eve. And then we'll see potentially on the 2nd or 3rd of January, that is a storm to watch. Okay, that's it for right now. I'm going to work on some other maps here, and I will see you guys coming up after the game. The Eagles are playing right now, and the Bears, so I'll see you guys after that.